Ladies and gentlemen, in 2017, YouTube changed.
Huge changes that YouTube monetizing their content.
Does not care for the users on its platform.
Controversial decisions.
YouTube slyly pushed out a new
How
policy.
creators get demonetized left and right.
YouTube.
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 Due to some bad players in the creator ecosystem, which I have spoken about in prior videos, YouTube forever shifted the way the content was consumed and created for two reasons. Number one, they needed to put safeguards in place to prevent people from gaming the system. And number two, they saw this as an opportunity to deeper evolve the YouTube algorithm to put priority on content that fit into specific categories, meaning a channel that fit under an umbrella category had a higher likelihood of success than a channel that was creating content on multiple subjects. Before 2017, you could basically create a video on any topic on the same channel and everything would have an equal opportunity to find momentum. After 2017, channels needed to have a niche focus. This led to a few interesting ripple effects. Creator burnout became a true mental health concern. Creators didn't have as much flexibility to create what they were feeling, what they were wanting to do, which led to a decrease in innovation and evolution and an increase in channels peaking, meaning they would hit those ceilings because they couldn't innovate past those ceilings just based off of the niche category that they were creating under. But for the last 7 years, smart creators have been silently building a new YouTube ecosystem to push back against the flaws of the new YouTube algorithm. Fast forward to 2024, with the addition of shorts and podcasts and clips and all other features that YouTube has added in recent years, one content strategy reigns supreme: the media company. You asked for this, and I am providing. This is what Uncle Raf does. I take care of my family. You asked about media companies, and today we're going to talk about media companies. I have an entire media company strategy for you. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the pros, the cons, what type of media companies you should be looking at, and what stage you should be thinking about building this at. If you jump into the media company strategy too soon, you're going to end up burning yourself out because there's a lot that goes into it. And if you jump in too late, then you may have already peaked and people stop listening to you, and then it's like starting over from scratch. But either way, my friends, it is not the end of the world. You can start a media company whenever you want to. Honestly, I don't really care. I'm just here to give you support and give you guidance and help you guys do whatever you want. So if you choose to listen to me, great. And if you don't, I don't really care. But that said, I do have a couple of freebies down in the description below. If you want our YouTube blueprint down there, 60+ pages of cool content on how to build a YouTube channel. And we have micro hooks. We got a micro hooks thing down there too. So if you want to learn how you can retain your audience for longer, grab that document down there. Completely free, guys. If you don't want it, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But take it either way. It's to your benefit. So as I've been studying the creator economy over the last 10 years, as I've been following big YouTubers, big and small YouTubers, what I've realized the media company strategy helps with the most is expansion. Now, there are two types of expansion. There's solo creator expansion, which just means that you're going to create another channel on another topic or in another style that you don't want to include on your primary channel for fear of competing with yourself or building two audiences. The other type of expansion model is acquiring talent, bringing them into your ecosystem, having rights to their content creation, their YouTube channels, or just housing them all under one media company hub. This is like Valuetainment, The Daily Wire, old school BuzzFeed. We're going to talk about BuzzFeed, why they have failed and some of the things that they've done and why media companies aren't for everybody here in just a few minutes. But before I get into that style, the talent acquisition style, I want to talk about the solo creator style because I think a lot of you guys, a lot of you creators are just like, I have so many different ideas that I'm afraid to put on this channel and I want to start another channel. So let's talk about that for just a second. So there are two creators that I want to focus on right now who create great content. They've done a great job building their media companies. In the true sense of a media company, really what they've done is they just created different hubs for different styles of content. So the first one is Alex Hormozi. He's got the Alex Hormozi channel, he has the Layla Hormozi channel, and then they have Mozi Media. So 3 channels where they can create different styles of content. Obviously, Layla and Alex have their own thing because they talk about 2 different things. Mozi Media is where they house everything that doesn't fit necessarily under Alex Hormozi. So he has like interviews in there and he has college presentations and then just some other styles of content that fit under there. And then Graham Stephan, on the other hand, he's got the Graham Stephan Show and he's got the Iced Coffee Hour and he's got Graham Stephan Clips and the original Graham Stephan channel. The problem with this style of media company is that it still requires the same face on every channel. It requires an additional amount of work on every channel. While you're expanding, while you're tapping into your creative need to be more innovative or try something new, you're still held back by the fact that if you disappear, the channels fail. When we're talking about from a business perspective, you're talking about adding a valuation to a media company. Those valuations are going to be a fraction of what they would be if you work your way out of having to be the face of every channel, which is like Valuetainment and Daily Wire, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So while you're able to stay innovative and you're able to stay in front of audiences, the downside is that if you leave or if you stop creating content, then you stop getting views. And the likelihood of someone else purchasing your channel or having a value on it is minuscule. That said, both Graham and Alex Hormozi are both very, very smart creators. In my opinion, their goal right now is to be ubiquitous, meaning when anybody jumps on YouTube who is into business, they have a high likelihood of stumbling upon those two creators' content strictly because they are content machines. They're constantly producing content on their different channels, in their different styles, in different mediums, shorts, clips, longs, interviews, and you have a high likelihood of finding those. So that's massively beneficial to them. The other thing that I think that they're thinking about is that they're eventually going to create talent acquisition media companies where they bring in people that they like that could make other good hosts to fit underneath the Hormozi umbrella, the Graham Stephan umbrella, which is the next style that I want to talk about, the talent acquisition model. Now, you guys, I know that some of you guys just want me to get to the how do I do this? How do I put this together? And I've got a whole step-by-step plan here in just a few minutes, so bear with me. The next style that I want to talk about is talent acquisition. Talent acquisition is like Valuetainment, it's like Daily Wire, it's like BuzzFeed, it's like Vice, where there's a number of different creators that are hired, that are paid to be content creators. They're professional hosts, people who have shown that they have talent in their individual channels or anywhere else on social media, and that talent is acquired for a fee to come under the umbrella of this brand, this name brand, and create content specifically for those channels. The benefit of having a model like this is that you have a higher valuation. There's more corporate media structure, meaning there are more systems put in place to prevent problems or to prevent burnout. Burnout is virtually non-existent in a lot of these structures simply because there are multiple hosts. You take your turn, you have to create a video a week or a video a month or every other week, and it removes a lot of the stress and pressure that you might typically have as a solo creator. Now, some of the cons of the talent acquisition media structure are, number one, astronomical expenses. So you typically need a lot of seed money to get things up and running. And if you look at the formation of Daily Wire, Jeremy Benke and Ben Shapiro had to go and raise money in order to start the Daily Wire. Now, they have made that money many times over because of the systems they put in place to ensure success to the company, but it cost a lot of money. Patrick Bet-David has done the same with Valuetainment. He's put a lot of his own money into starting up Valuetainment. And Valuetainment now probably has a pretty high valuation, but that doesn't come without paying a steep price. For example, if you look at the Indeed reviews for what it's like to work at Valuetainment, let me just read some of this to you. I don't recommend it. They not only underpay you, but also the culture there is very much crunch. You also don't get the best benefits. If you're looking for a job here, the only good position is graphic designers. Otherwise, you'll feel lost here. The management in this company is awful. They themselves don't know what the heck they're doing. It's all over the place, and you have to basically figure out what to do yourself 99% of the time. With media companies, because the key to success is volume, you're constantly grinding out content in front of your ideal viewership. Media companies are a volume game. You have to always be creating content, especially when it comes to social media, because you learn very rapidly every time you create content, you increase your bottom line because of ad revenue, because of sponsorship opportunities. And so there is incentive to blast out as much content as possible, which could be a pro and a con, having to come up with that amount of content. It can also lead to crazy volatile work environments. Look at what's happening with Daily Wire right now. With Candace Owens leaving, there was some tension behind the scenes, and it led to Candace leaving, fracturing the Daily Wire audience. There are a lot of people who are supporting Daily Wire, and a lot of people who are supporting Ben Shapiro. I know when you look at traditional media companies like BuzzFeed and Vice, those guys have had their own problems. Look at the BuzzFeed main channel right now. There's like a couple of videos on there without thumbnails. It looks like some random creator hijacked the BuzzFeed homepage with videos that were filmed in vertical that are over a minute. It's like a disaster. So there is a lot of volatility because of different personalities and high overhead. So you just got to be careful. With that said, let's talk about the steps it takes to build your own media company. Transition. Here we go. Number one, you guys, you always have to start by defining your niche. You still have to have a niche, and you have to build a solo following before you can just jump right into media company. If you have enough money, you can jump right into media company, but there's such a growth curve that it can take years before you ever see any benefit or return on investment. So my advice is build your own solo channel before you start branching out and building other channels, okay? Number 2, unique value proposition. I've talked about this a ton in my previous content. I highly recommend that you really define what your unique value proposition is. You have to define a style and exactly who your audience is. And you have to have something that's unique that other people can't copy. People can't copy Alex Hormozi. People can't copy Graham Stephan. They are one of a kind. People can't copy Gary Vaynerchuk. One of a kind. Grant Cardone. Any of these business guys. And I talk about business because I'm into business, guys. I focus on business a lot. So what is unique to you? You have to have that. Now, this is kind of precursor to setting up the media company. So now let's talk about the formation of the media company. Okay, number 1, pilot channels, making sure that you have that audience ahead of time. Now, if you're bringing in additional talent, make sure that they also have their own channels, their own audience, that you guys can merge your audiences together. That will increase the speed of which this new media company will grow. If you have multiple audiences, obviously it stands to reason that you're bringing in people from all different types of sources. For example, there was a channel a number of years ago called Millennial Moms that was founded by Mindy McKnight from Cute Girl Hairstyles. She also brought in other creators like Jordan Page and Laughing Moms, and they all started creating content on the same channel together. The downfall of that channel, in my opinion, was they just didn't give it enough time. It can be very high overhead to sustain before you start to see an ROI. The next thing you want to focus on is diversity in content. Each content creator should be creating a different type of content. You can have interviews, you can have talking head, you can have rants, you can have drama, you can have all sorts of things that are housed under this media company because every creator brings something different. So you want to make sure there's enough diversity so that way not every video feels exactly the same. Opinions are different. There's a balance that is brought in the content styles. Number 3, quality production. When you're building a media company, people are going to assume that you're bringing quality to the table and they're going to be turned off by not quality. You think about traditional media companies like Fox News, CNN, everything is high quality. Everything is high quality, so that's what you need to bring to the table in your own media company. High quality. And number 4, regular posting schedule that does not deviate. So if someone is going to take a vacation, they're going to be out, either make sure that they batch produce ahead of time or make sure that you have someone who's willing to fill that slot. You don't deviate from your content strategies because you want people to build their schedules around their favorite programming, around their favorite show on your channel. Number 5, unified branding. Everything needs to be branded with continuity. Look at the Daily Wire. Every single thumbnail's got the little DW. It's got their little logo in it. Everything needs to represent the hub, the overarching company, the umbrella that is everybody is under. So that way there's unity among all of the content. Which brings me to the next thing, which is cross promotion. If one person is famous, then the rest of them are expected to become famous as well through cross promotion. There has to be balance. Everybody is equally loved when it's a media company. Because if you have one program that falls flat, then someone's not carrying their weight, the weak link in the chain, and you don't want that. And that's going to weaken the overall impact of the media company. All right, now let's talk about monetization of media companies. Obviously, there's AdSense and there's advertising, but what a lot of people don't realize is that premium content is another extremely valuable way to increase the revenue of a media company. Well, look at what Daily Wire has done with Daily Wire Plus. I just paid $70 last year in order to do that, and they said that they have millions of subscribers to Daily Wire Plus. They have hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue coming into that company. It's insane how much money can be made from a low-ticket subscription-based model. If you're planning on building out a media company, I highly recommend looking into that model at some point because that's going to be the ticket to recurring revenue on an ongoing basis. And then the next piece of the puzzle that you need to be constantly focused on is expansion. If you're not expanding, then your media company is dying. This is the entire reason why creators are creating media companies, is because as solo creators, they hit those ceilings because they can't innovate, they can't evolve. So you have to be thinking about what is the new talent that I can acquire? What are ways that we can evolve this programming? What are the next 5 steps? How are we taking this content off platform and creating more written traditional media on blog posts and article writing and things like that? You guys, building a media company is no joke. There are a lot of people who have tried and who have failed. If you want to be successful with a media company, you can be. You just have to put the right things in step and you have to build that cult following. I actually created a video on building a cult-like following, breaking down Ben Shapiro's model, and I did that right here. Check it out. We'll see you on the next one.